Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into the world of cutting-edge AI today.
Always exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
And specifically, we're focusing on LLMs, large language models.
Right.
But we're not just going to talk about the hype.
Oh, no.
We're going deep into some research.
Absolutely.
So
Let's get into it.
this deep dive is going to be based on a paper called DeepSeek-R1, Incentivizing Reasoning Capability in LLMs via Reinforcement Learning.
Wow, what a mouthful.
I know, right? Hot off the presses from the AME 2024 conference.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like the forefront of AI research here.
Absolutely. And this is perfect for you, our resident learner. We're
Yeah.
going beyond just AI, spitting out text or writing poems.
Right.
We're talking about AI that can think logically and solve problems.
Yeah, like really trying to get these models to think more like humans,
Exactly.
mimic our reasoning processes.
Yeah. So before we get into the specifics of DeepSeek-R1, let's just take a step back.
Yeah,
When we talk about an AI reasoning, what do we even mean?
that's a great question. It's not like these models are like suddenly writing philosophical treatises or anything.
Right.
But reasoning in AI, it's about building models that can kind of mimic those thought processes that we use every day.
Oh.
Like deduction problem solving, drawing logical conclusions
Yeah.
based on information they have. It's about teaching these models to think in a very structured, logical way.
So more like solving a logic puzzle
Yeah.
than
Than writing like a, philosophical masterpiece.
Right, exactly. So what's interesting about this DeepSeek-R1 paper is how they achieve this level of reasoning using reinforcement learning, or RL.
Yes, RL is a very powerful technique.
So instead of showing the model a million pictures of cats and saying this is a cat,
Right. That's like the traditional supervised learning approach.
they're doing something totally different.
Yeah, with RL, it's more like giving the model a goal
Okay.
and then letting it figure out the best way to reach that goal through trial and error.
Okay.
So it gets rewards for making progress, penalties for making mistakes,
Uh-huh.
and over time, it learns to favor those strategies that lead to those rewards.
So it's kind of like training a dog,
Exactly.
rewarding it for good behavior,
Yeah,
correcting it when it does something wrong.
exactly. It learns what it needs to do to get that treat.
And in the case of DeepSeek-R1, that treat is
Well, in this case, the treat is really achieving a high score
okay,
on a reasoning benchmark
not it.
or, solving a complex problem correctly.
So they basically just threw this LLM into the deep end and said, figure it out.
Well, not exactly. They actually started with a model
Okay.
called DeepSeek-R10,
R10.
which was trained purely through reinforcement learning.
Wow.
So no hand-holding, no labeled data, just pure trial and error guided by rewards.
And did it actually start to show signs of reasoning?
It did. And this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah, okay.
The paper describes an example where R10 was tackling a challenging math problem,
Uh-huh.
and it struggled initially. But then in its output, it actually said something like,
What did it say?
wait. That's an aha moment I can flag here. Let's reevaluate this step by step.
Hold on. The model used the phrase aha moment,
It did.
like it was a person
Yeah.
having an epiphany.
Exactly. It wasn't just that the model solved the problem, it was how it solved it.
Wow.
It was demonstrating this level of self-awareness
Okay.
and problem-solving strategy that really surprised the researchers.
So this R10 just trial and error reinforcement learning
Yeah,
is having aha moments, figuring out how to reason.
exactly.
But I'm guessing there are still some kinks to work out.
Of course. This is bleeding-edge research we're talking about.
Right. So how did they refine it? How did they go from this kind of raw R10 to the full-fledged DeepSeek-R1?
So they gave it a little bit more structure,
Oh, it's
something they called a cold start phase.
a cold start. Okay, so what do they do differently?
So they started by feeding R1 a very carefully curated set of examples
Okay.
focused on reasoning. This gave the model a set of kind of best practices to draw from.
So it's still learning through RLs.
Yeah,
But now it has this foundation, these examples.
exactly.
Okay. So kind of like giving a student a textbook before
Yeah,
they start doing their own research.
exactly. It's about providing more guided learning experience
Got it.
in those early stages.
Makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So we've got DeepSeek-R1 trained with this cold start, then reinforcement learning.
Yes,
But how does it actually stack up against other LLMs out there?
that's a million-dollar question, right?
Yes.
And thankfully, the DeepSeek team gives us some answers. They put DeepSeek-R1 head-to-head
Okay.
with some of the top LLMs out there, including OpenAI's models.
Ooh, a real AI showdown.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, give us the results.
Yeah.
How did DeepSeek-R1 perform?
It actually exceeded expectations.
Okay.
In Figure 1 of the paper, they lay out the results, and there's some really impressive numbers there.
Such as,
For instance, on the AME 2024 exam.
what is that?
That's the American Invitational Mathematics Examination.
Oh, wow.
DeepSeek-R1 achieved a pass rate of 79.8%.
Wow, almost 80% on a challenging math exam.
I know, very impressive.
That's incredible. And what about the other models? How did they compare?
While DeepSeek-R1 actually outperformed
Okay.
OpenAI O1 1217,
Which was,
which was previously considered one of the most advanced LLMs available.
wow. So they're using this new approach.
Yeah.
This RL approach,
Mhm.
and they're getting better results than models that are using the more traditional approach.
It seems that by allowing the model to learn through trial and error, guided by rewards,
Yeah.
they've managed to tap into a much more robust and adaptable form of reasoning.
Okay, so this is all incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back to you, our listener.
Yeah.
Why should you care about a math exam crushing AI?
Right. That's a great question. It's not just about acing tests, right?
Sure.
It's about building AI that can solve complex problems in the real world.
Okay.
In fields like education, scientific research,
Yeah.
or even software development.
So instead of just generating text, these models could actually help us
Yeah.
analyze data,
Yes.
design experiments, even write better code.
Exactly. And it goes even further than that.
Okay.
The researchers discuss a process called distilling,
Distilling.
where they take the reasoning abilities of a large model like DeepSeek-R1,
Okay.
and they transfer them to smaller, more efficient models.
So break that down for us. How do you distill reasoning?
Essentially, they use the outputs of the larger model to train these smaller models.
Okay.
It's like taking the knowledge and expertise of a seasoned expert
Uh-huh.
and transferring it to someone with less experience.
So instead of having a supercomputer solve problems,
Yeah,
we can get similar results from something that could run on a laptop or even a smartphone.
that's the idea. And that's where things get really exciting for the average person.
Okay.
Imagine having access to this kind of reasoning power on your own devices.
Wow.
Being able to tap into AI that can help you analyze information, make decisions, and solve problems in ways you never thought possible.
So we're talking about a world where AI is not just something happening in research labs.
Right.
It's something integrated into our everyday lives,
Yeah,
helping us to be more productive,
exactly.
more creative, and more effective in tackling the challenges we face.
It's a powerful vision,
Yeah.
and one that's becoming increasingly tangible thanks to research like this DeepSeek-R1 project.
They've not only pushed the boundaries of what's possible with LLM reasoning, but they've also laid the groundwork for making this technology more accessible
Absolutely.
and impactful for everyone.
For everyone.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, folks.
We've got a lot more to cover.
We've gone from basic logic to aha moments to distilling reasoning into pocket-sized AI. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into DeepSeek-R1
Yes.
and explore what this all means for the future of AI.
Yeah.
And more importantly for you, our listener.
Exactly.
Welcome back. So we've unpacked this concept of AI reasoning, explored how DeepSeek-R1 uses reinforcement learning to get some pretty amazing results. But before we get too lost in the weeds, I want to circle back to you, our listener.
Absolutely. Let's connect this back to your world.
We've talked about how this technology could be used in fields like education or scientific research. Can you give us some specific examples of how this kind of AI could impact those areas? Paint a picture for us.
Imagine a world where every student has access to a personalized AI tutor
Okay.
that can adapt to their learning style, identify their strengths and weaknesses, and provide tailored guidance
Wow.
to help them grasp even the most challenging concepts.
That sounds amazing. It would be like having a super intelligent study buddy.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just tutoring.
Okay.
These AI models could also help teachers to design more effective lesson plans, analyze student performance data to identify areas where they might be struggling, and create a more engaging and personalized learning experience for every student.
So we're talking about a revolution in education. A world where AI helps to unlock the full potential of every learner.
Absolutely. And it's not just limited to education.
Okay.
Think about scientific research.
How could AI reasoning impact a field like that?
Imagine scientists being able to use these models to analyze massive data sets, identify patterns and anomalies that would be impossible for humans to spot, and generate hypotheses that could lead to groundbreaking discoveries.
So instead of spending years poring over data,
Yeah.
researchers could use AI to accelerate their work.
Exactly.
make connections they might have missed, and potentially unlock cures for diseases or solutions to some of the world's most pressing problems.
Exactly. These models could also help scientists to design more effective experiments, predict the outcomes of research, and even identify promising areas of study that might have been overlooked.
It's like giving scientists a superpower, augmenting their abilities
Right.
and accelerating the pace of discovery.
It really is, and this is just scratching the surface.
Yeah,
The potential applications of AI reasoning are vast
I believe it.
and still largely unexplored. We're just beginning to understand the power of this technology and how it can be used to solve problems and improve lives.
It's an incredibly exciting time to be following this field.
For sure.
But you mentioned earlier this concept of distilling
Yes.
the reasoning power of large models into smaller, more efficient ones.
Right.
Let's unpack that a bit more. How does that work and why is it so important?
Remember how we talked about DeepSeek-R1 achieving those impressive results on the AIing exam?
I do.
Well, that model is massive.
Okay.
It requires a significant amount of computing power to run.
So not exactly something you can run on your smartphone.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's where distillation comes in.
Okay.
Researchers are developing techniques to transfer the knowledge and reasoning abilities of these massive models
Uh-huh.
into smaller, more efficient ones that can run on everyday devices.
So it's like shrinking that supercomputer down to the size of a smartphone
It's a great analogy.
without losing its intelligence.
Exactly. And it's a game changer in terms of making this technology accessible to everyone.
Okay.
Instead of needing access to specialized hardware and vast computing resources, you could have this kind of AI power right in your pocket.
Wow, that opens up a world of possibilities.
Absolutely. Imagine having an AI assistant on your phone that can not only answer your questions and schedule appointments,
Right.
but can also help you think through complex problems, analyze data, and make more informed decisions.
It would be like having a personal advisor, a brainstorming partner, and a research assistant all rolled into one.
Exactly. And it's not just about personal productivity.
Right.
These smaller distilled models could be used in countless applications.
Yeah.
From personalized education to healthcare diagnostics to smart home devices that can anticipate your needs and make your life easier.
So we're talking about a world where AI is seamlessly integrated into our lives, augmenting our capabilities,
Yes.
helping us to navigate an increasingly complex world.
It's a vision that's both exciting and a little daunting.
I agree.
But one thing is for sure,
What's that?
the DeepSeek-R1 paper highlights the incredible potential of AI reasoning and the rapid pace at which this technology is evolving.
It's a field that's definitely worth paying attention to. Now, I know we've been focusing a lot on the positive potential of AI reasoning,
Right.
but I think it's important to acknowledge that there are also potential challenges and concerns.
Of course. As with any powerful technology, it's crucial to be aware of the potential downsides and to develop it responsibly.
So what are some of the things we should be thinking about as this technology continues to advance?
One area of concern is the potential for bias.
Okay.
These models learn from the data they're trained on.
Right.
And if that data contains biases, the model might perpetuate those biases in its reasoning.
So, for example, if a model is trained on data that reflects existing gender or racial biases, it might make decisions or recommendations that are unfair or discriminatory.
Exactly. It's essential to be aware of these potential biases and to develop techniques to mitigate them. Researchers are actively working on this, exploring ways to train models that are fair, unbiased, and equitable in their decision-making.
It's a complex challenge, but one that's absolutely essential to address if we want to build AI that benefits everyone.
Absolutely.
What about the impact on jobs? A lot of people are worried that AI will automate away their jobs, leaving them unemployed.
It's a valid concern, and one that we need to be thinking about carefully. While AI will undoubtedly automate some tasks, it's also likely to create new jobs and opportunities.
So it's not necessarily about replacing humans,
Right.
but about changing the nature of work
Yes.
and the skills that are in demand.
Exactly. Instead of fearing automation, we should be focusing on how we can adapt to these changes, develop new skills, and prepare for a future where humans and AI work together.
It's about embracing the potential of AI to augment human capabilities,
Yeah.
to free us from repetitive tasks, and to allow us to focus on higher-level thinking, creativity, and problem-solving.
It's a shift in perspective, but a necessary one. The future of work will be shaped by AI,
I think that's inevitable.
and it's up to us to ensure that it's a future that benefits everyone.
So while there are challenges to address, there's also immense potential for AI reasoning to make a positive impact on our world.
Absolutely. And the DeepSeek-R1 paper is a testament to that potential. It's not just a technical achievement, it's a glimpse into a future where AI can help us to solve problems, to learn more effectively, and to create a more equitable and prosperous society.
It's a future I'm excited to be a part of.
Me too.
But before we get too carried away with visions of a utopian AI-powered world, I want to bring us back to the DeepSeek-R1 paper.
Okay.
They actually spent a significant amount of time discussing some of their unsuccessful attempts to train this model, highlighting the challenges they faced along the way.
It's a refreshing level of transparency.
Right.
Most research papers focus solely on the successes, but the DeepSeek team recognized the value of sharing their setbacks and the lessons they learned from them.
I think that's incredibly valuable for anyone trying to understand the complexities of this field. It's not always a smooth path to success.
It's definitely not a straight line.
So let's take a look at some of those unsuccessful attempts. What were some of the approaches that didn't quite work out?
Okay.
And what can we learn from them?
One approach they explored was something called a process reward model, or PRM.
A PRM. Okay, so what's the idea behind a PRM and why didn't it pan out?
The basic idea is to reward the model not just for getting the final answer right,
Okay.
but also for taking the right steps along the way.
Okay.
It's like giving partial credit on a math test,
Okay.
acknowledging that the process of arriving at the answer is just as important as the answer itself.
It makes sense in theory, but I'm guessing it's more complicated in practice.
You're right. The challenge lies in defining those right steps. That can capture the nuances of human thought processes.
So it's like trying to create a one-size-fits-all recipe for problem solving,
Yeah,
when in reality, there are countless paths to the same solution.
exactly. And the DeepSeek team found that this PRM approach often led to what's called reward hacking,
Reward hacking.
where the model would figure out how to game the system and get rewarded without demonstrating true reasoning abilities.
So it's like a student figuring out how to ace a multiple-choice test
Yeah,
without actually understanding the material.
that's a perfect analogy.
They might be getting the right answers,
Yeah,
but they're not really learning.
exactly. And that's not what we're aiming for with AI reasoning. We want models that can genuinely understand the logic behind the solution and apply that knowledge to new and unfamiliar situations.
We want AI that can think critically, not just regurgitate information or follow a set of pre-programmed rules.
Precisely. And the DeepSeek team's experience with PRMs highlights the importance of carefully designing reward systems and evaluating models not just on their outputs, but also on their underlying reasoning processes.
It's a reminder that building truly intelligent AI is a complex and nuanced challenge.
It really is.
It's not enough to just throw data at a model and hope for the best.
Right.
We need to understand how these models learn, how they reason,
Yeah,
and how to guide them towards genuine understanding.
absolutely. It's about moving beyond brute force computation and towards a more nuanced and sophisticated approach to AI development.
Well said. So PRMs didn't quite work out. What about other approaches? Did the DeepSeek team explore any other avenues that hit a dead end?
They also experimented with a technique called Monte Carlo Tree Search, or MCTS for short.
MCTS.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is MCTS and why didn't it work out for them?
MCTS is a powerful search algorithm
Okay.
that's been incredibly successful in game-playing AI.
Okay.
Think of AlphaGo, the AI that mastered the ancient and incredibly complex game of Go.
Yeah, I remember that.
It used MCTS to explore different move sequences and evaluate their effectiveness, ultimately outmaneuvering even the world's best human players.
Yeah. So the idea was to apply this game-playing strategy to the realm of reasoning.
Exactly. It seems like a promising approach,
Okay.
allowing the model to systematically explore different solution paths and evaluate their potential.
So instead of just following a single line of reasoning,
Right.
the model could branch out, consider multiple possibilities, and weigh the pros and cons of each approach.
Exactly. But the DeepSeek team found that while MCTS can be very effective in well-defined domains like board games, it's much more challenging to apply to the vast and often ambiguous world of general reasoning.
So while a chessboard has a limited number of squares and moves,
Yeah,
the realm of human knowledge and reasoning is virtually limitless.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the search space for general reasoning tasks is so vast that even a powerful algorithm like MCTS can get lost or bogged down in the sheer number of possibilities.
It's like trying to navigate a maze with infinite corridors and dead ends.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And even if the algorithm can navigate this vast search space,
Okay.
there's another challenge.
What's that?
Training a value model that can accurately assess the quality of different reasoning paths.
So it's not enough to just explore different options.
Right.
You also need a way to judge which options are most likely to lead to the right solution.
Exactly. And developing that value model, especially for complex reasoning tasks, proved to be incredibly difficult.
It's like having a compass that can point you in any direction,
Yeah.
but it's not calibrated correctly, so you're not sure which direction is actually north.
That's a great analogy. And ultimately, while MCTS has shown promise for specific types of reasoning tasks, the DeepSeek team concluded that it wasn't a silver bullet solution for achieving general-purpose reasoning abilities.
It's a valuable reminder that building truly intelligent AI is not about finding a single magic algorithm.
Right.
It's about understanding the strengths and limitations of different approaches, adapting them to specific challenges, and constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's a journey of exploration and discovery filled with both breakthroughs and setbacks. And it's through sharing these experiences, both the successes and the failures, that we can collectively advance this field and unlock the true potential of AI.
These unsuccessful attempts are just as valuable as the successes, providing insights and lessons that can guide future research.
Absolutely. And it speaks to the DeepSeek team's commitment to transparency.
Yeah.
And to advancing the field as a whole.
Yeah, they didn't shy away from that at all.
They didn't just want to showcase their achievements.
Right.
They wanted to share the entire journey, warts and all, to help others learn from their experiences.
It's a refreshing approach, and one that I think is essential for fostering a culture of collaboration and innovation in the AI community. We're all in this together, and by sharing both our triumphs and our stumbles, we can accelerate progress and ensure that AI is developed responsibly and for the benefit of all.
I couldn't agree more. It's a journey that requires collective wisdom, a willingness to experiment and learn from our mistakes, and a shared commitment to creating a future where AI enhances our lives and helps us to solve some of the world's most pressing challenges.
Well said. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah.
From the nuances of reinforcement learning
Yeah.
to the ethical implications of AI reasoning.
Right.
But before we wrap things up,
Yeah.
I want to leave you, our listener, with a final thought to ponder.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's this final brain teaser?
We've talked about AI learning to reason to solve problems, even to have those aha moments that feel remarkably human. But what about creativity?
Ooh.
Can AI be truly creative?
That's a big one.
Can it generate new ideas, invent new concepts, or create art that moves us emotionally?
That's a fascinating question, and one that pushes us to consider the very nature of creativity. Is it something that can be programmed a series of algorithms and data inputs? Or is it an inherently human trait, something that emerges from our unique blend of experiences, emotions, and unconscious processes?
It's a question that philosophers and artists have been wrestling with for centuries. And now, with the rise of AI, it's taking on a whole new dimension.
Indeed. Can we train machines to be creative, or will they forever be limited to mimicking and remixing the patterns they've learned from human-created data?
It's a question that I don't think we have a definitive answer to yet,
Yeah.
but it's certainly worth exploring as we continue to navigate this exciting and uncharted territory, artificial intelligence.
It's a question that might even challenge our own understanding of what it means to be human. If AI can create art that moves us, that evokes emotions and sparks our imaginations, does that change our perception of creativity, of consciousness, even of our own unique place in the universe?
Those are some deep thoughts for a Tuesday afternoon. And I think we've given our listener plenty to chew on. So let's wrap up this deep dive with that final thought lingering in the air.
It's been a pleasure exploring these topics with you and our astute listener.
Welcome back to the show. It's our final part of this deep dive into AI reasoning.
Been quite a journey.
It really has. Exploring the ins and outs of DeepSeek-R1.
Yeah, all those aha moments.
The aha moments, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Those have really stuck with me.
It is a really powerful concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
This idea that these models are not just blindly following algorithms,
Right.
but actually exhibiting some form of cognitive breakthrough.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, what other cognitive leaps are these models capable of? What other surprises do they have in store?
Lots of potential for surprises, I think.
Absolutely. And what's really exciting is that this isn't just happening in research labs.
Right.
As we've discussed, this distillation process is making this technology more accessible,
Exactly.
bringing this AI reasoning to our everyday devices.
Right into our pockets.
Exactly.
It's a powerful stuff.
Imagine a world where your smartphone can not only process information,
Yeah.
but also reason about it, help you solve problems.
Generate creative solutions
All right,
you might never have thought of.
It's like having a pocket-sized Einstein.
I like that.
A constant companion that can augment your own thinking.
Yeah.
And push you to see things from new perspectives.
But that's just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Think about the impact on education, healthcare, scientific research.
I know, it was mind-blowing.
Really a fundamental shift
Yeah.
in how we approach
Everything.
learning, problem-solving, decision-making.
It is a paradigm shift.
It really is.
And it's happening now.
Yeah.
But it is important to remember that this technology is still evolving.
Absolutely.
There are challenges to address.
For sure.
Like those potential biases we discussed.
Right.
And the need to ensure that AI is developed and used ethically.
Ethically and responsibly.
Yes.
So we need to be having those conversations now.
Absolutely.
Alongside these advancements.
Yeah. To shape a future where AI benefits everyone.
But even amidst those challenges, there's also immense potential for good.
Without a doubt.
And I think that's what I'm going to take away from this deep dive. It's not just about the algorithms and the data.
It's really not.
It's about the possibilities, the potential to improve lives.
To solve those big problems.
To make the world a better place.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part. So to you, our listener, I hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity.
Giving you some things to think about.
Absolutely. Given you some food for thought,
And
maybe even inspired you to learn more
keep learning
about this fascinating field of AI reasoning.
It is a fascinating field.
It is. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Likewise. And to our listeners out there, keep asking those questions, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries.
Yes, because the future of AI
is in our hands.
It's not something that's happening to us.
We're all creating it together.
We are all creating it together.
That's how.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
And we'll see you on our next deep dive.